Hey everybody, my name's Kelvin Ma. I am the founder of RemoteScale.com. We help businesses, big and small, and even some side hustlers, number one, attract more travelers, and number two, convert higher bookings. And today's video is going to be on how you're going to rank your Airbnb listing higher within the Airbnb search engine, but also in Google as well. All right, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time here at the very beginning. Let's get into the meat of this video. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to a screenshot of what I am looking at right now on my computer. And what we're going to talk about and what we're going to do is a walkthrough on how you can optimize your Airbnb listing to be higher not only within Airbnb itself, but also within Google. And there's two aspects to this that I want to highlight to you. So there's a little bit more of the, we'll call it the technical stuff, even though it's really not that technical. And then there's the daily rituals kind of stuff that you need to implement into your habits to raise your rankings. And these are certain things that Airbnb they just kind of like because it means that you are a better host. And what we're going to talk about in terms of non-technical habits is three things. So that's being hyper responsive to the inbound messages that you have. So anyone that comes in and messages you, especially on the weekends. I notice that I get a lot of bookings on the weekends, and I make it a kind of a prime note to be really responsive with those people because they're on their, they're off of work and they're trying to plan their upcoming holidays. And this is the moment when they are actually trying to give you money, basically. And so that's the first part. The first part is about hyper responsiveness, and the second part is about having instant bookings on. I've had instant bookings on for quite some time now. I have thought about having it off, but personally, I just don't think it's worth it because I've got the settings right now where my settings are that the person that wants to book and is allowed to have instant bookings has to have certain verifications and should be recommended by a different host as well. And based on those judgments, I think I'm okay with that personally, but everyone has their own choices, so it is really up to you how to approach your host responsiveness, basically. Instant bookings, I find, is just quite nice because once someone books into your listing, you find that there's a continuous flow of bookings coming as well. Now, the third one is going for the ask. And what that means is that you want to have certain parts of your listing that ask people to book. I look through tons and tons of listings, and I have looked through tons and tons of listings that are good and bad, and the good ones are the ones that have the ask. And the ask is, hey, send a message. Hey, if you like this, book instantly here. Hey, if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you want to include more people into the house, shoot me a message and let me see what we can do to work together. And that's what the ask is. Okay, so there's the three things. That's being hyper responsive, having instant bookings, and also going for the ask. Now, let's start optimizing your listing, okay? And the first thing that you want to do before anything is to figure out where you are, right? So where are you in your city's overall Airbnb listings, okay? So a city like New York is going to have tons and tons and tons and tons of listings, whereas a city, for instance, my city in Calgary, in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, we don't have that many Airbnb listings, but so that really depends on how competitive things are as well, right? That's going to be it. But the first thing is that you need to figure out where you are sitting in the rankings. And that doesn't mean just the rankings for one guest, but it means for all of the guests. So if you can hold up to 4 guests, then you need to know where you're sitting in terms of your spots for each guest count, okay? And the first thing that you want to do is you want to start from Google, okay? And the reason why you want to start from Google is because that gives you an indication of where people are starting. And how that works is that you have to go into incognito mode, which I'll show you in a couple seconds, and you have to go Airbnb and then your city. And the reason for that, which I'll show you right now, is that Airbnb here, okay, in this specific section right here, you can see that in these what are known as keywords or search terms in Google, you can see the search volume here, okay? And the search volume for all of these are much higher than for the other ones where you have the city in the front and then Airbnb in the back. Okay, so anytime you are looking for, if you're going to try and do this, you want to go into incognito mode on your browser, okay, not logged in or anything like that, and you have to search Airbnb and then your city name, okay? So let's see, I think I had something set up here. Yeah, so I went into Google and I typed Airbnb New York in there, and what came up after these ads is this listing right here, okay? Or, well, not this listing, this result. And what I did is I clicked into here, and that brought me to this page, which is New York, which has the search settings for New York, anytime, and 1 guest. So what you need to do is you need to go into a different browser. So go out of your browser, go out of your incognito browser, and go into your host settings, okay? And then go and looking at your listings. Okay, so look at your listings and try to find the first 2 words. I try and stick with the first 2 words of the listing and copy that. So that's Command C on a Mac. I think it's Control C on a PC, but you guys might know more than I do about that if you are a Windows user. And what you want to do is you just want to go into each area, each setting, so up to however many guests that you can hold, and you want to manually, I know it's kind of crappy, but you have to manually go and look at each single page to see where you are standing. Because if you don't know where your current rankings are, then how do you know if you are improving? Besides the fact that you are going to get more views, you still want to know where you are, and you want to have a goal, right? So my goal is to get up onto the 3rd page or less. Okay, so 1, 2, or 3. And what you do is you would go, 1 guest, Control F or Command F, and then paste it into there, and then search for it. Okay, so this is the New York settings, which I don't have a listing in, but that's how you would go and approach that. All right, so go into the listings, go through every single one of these, and then record into Evernote or onto Google Sheets or wherever you can write it down, those current rankings that you have for each guest number. Okay, and as far as I know, each of these pages has about 18 listings in them. All right, and there's going to be new ones, and there's going to be old ones too. New ones, Airbnb likes to give people kind of a jump start on their listings. So I noticed that for mine, when I listed my new property there, that we were right at the first page right away, just because Airbnb wants you to, they want to show you how useful the platform is. And it is a useful platform. That's why I'm making this video at the end of the day. Okay, so now that you've recorded where you are in terms of your current rankings, you want to go and you want to analyze the competitors for the most commonly used words that they have. Okay, and I know that might be slightly confusing to you, but you have to think about how a search engine works at the end of the day. So a search engine just reads mostly text, right? It may read what's known as alt text or alternative text inside of pictures and images, but those are meant for people that are blind, that are trying to go through the internet. That's what the text inside of those images, or the metadata inside of the images, is for. But what we are talking about is just the words, the most commonly used words for the title, the summary, the space, and the guest access. Sorry. So what we would do with that is that we would have to go into each of these specific guest counts. Okay, so in the first guest count, and if you have 4, then you have to go and do this 4 times. But what you would do is you would go, and I would ignore any of these new listings, because as I said, Airbnb favors new listings right away. But you want to find all of the old listings, okay? Or, well, not old, I just want to call them established listings, or organic listings in a way, okay? So this would be looking at this one, this one, this one as well, and this one in between here, looking at all the ones that aren't new, opening those up and seeing what people have as their listings, okay? And from that point, okay, you want to go and, as I said, you want to look at the title, the summary, the space, and the guest access. Okay, so this is the space, and this would be, I believe this is the summary right here. All right, and this is guest access. And the reason why you want to look at those is just because those are the most common ones that show up for Airbnb listings, listings in general. And how you are going to figure out the most commonly used words is you're going to use something, it's called the keyword density tool, okay? And how that works is, let's say, I think it's keyword density tool. Oh, all right. Right, so I have this saved because because I do this kind of stuff. So what you want to do is you want to you want to open up a notepad, so you want to open up Evernote or Google Sheets or something like that, and you want to take these listings, okay, and you want to take the summary, copy it, and you want to paste it in here, okay? But don't press enter, just press, I guess you could probably press shift and then enter in here, just so it doesn't click this submit button accidentally. So shift and then enter. And you want to collect all of the first page listings that are not new, so all of the organic listings on the first page, and you want to record those in here, okay? So you got to do the summary, you got to do the title, and you got to do the space, and you got to do guest access, okay? But for each one, you have to do them separately. So look at the summary, okay? So this is the summary one. I believe this one, yeah. So this is also the summary here. And we're going to go to this down here, and we're going to paste it again, okay? And then we're going to go to the third listing here, right? And we're going to click this one because this is also just the summary. So the summary is kind of the most important one. And when you look at these, you're going to kind of see which ones are better. You'll be able to tell, like, that, oh, that one is a much better listing actually after doing some actual research. We've done this research ourselves, so I know I'm going to give you some guidelines to work with, which will save you time. But this is kind of the first part of doing the optimization for your for your listing. So you're kind of starting from Google, from the Airbnb, and then your city, and then clicking on that first result in Google, and then looking and analyzing the competitors that show up on the first page for each guest count that you have. Okay? So hopefully you guys are following me. I have written a blog post on this, so you're going to get an accompaniment with this video plus a blog post. Plus I'm going to give you a cheat sheet as well. So you'll get all three of those links that you can use yourself. All right. So once that you have collected all of the summaries, let's say, for the first page of the Airbnb searches, then you want to press submit. Oh, actually, yeah. So you have to go to plain text first, and then you want to press submit. All right. So we didn't do too many of those in here, but the more that the more that you analyze, the more text that they're going to give you. Okay, the more information they're going to give you. So these are important words that you want to include in there, such as located, apartment, central. Central is a good one. Light, restaurants are around there. This is going to give you certain keywords that you want to implement and kind of jig your way into your summary. Okay, and you want to do that for the title again. You want to do that for the summary. You want to do that for the space, and you also want to do that for guest access. Okay, because those are the most common ones. All right, so collect all those, run this search, and then you can export this. You can export this data here as well. So just click export, and then it'll come up and just save it as title, summary, space, or guest access. All right, and let's go back to this third part. So you want to go and look at the search suggestions. Now what search suggestions are is they're very similar to what you get with Google. So sometimes you'll be typing something like can my dog eat, and then spacebar, and then it'll come up with a whole bunch of suggestions that other people have searched because those are popular searches. So can my dog eat bananas, or can my dog eat cherries, or something like that. Those are search suggestions in Google, and you'll see those in Amazon as well. But what you'll also see is search suggestions in Airbnb as well. All right, so let's stick back with the New York one. All right, so let's go back here. It already knows that I was searching for New York based on what we were doing previously. So I'm just going to type in New York and then spacebar. Let's type in a different one, actually. All right. So New York didn't give us great search suggestions, probably just because it's huge. New York is huge. And number one, I'm also not an American in a way. So I've lived in the U.S. for a little bit, but I'm not a full American. I am a Canadian, so I don't know exactly the reason why that didn't show up. But if you look at New Orleans and probably your listing that you are looking at, then you'll be able to see some search suggestions. So with New Orleans, we've got the airport, we've got the Ernest N. Morial Convention Center, we've got the Hilton Head Islands. That's just probably a place, and we also got the Downtown Marriott Convention Center. Okay, so these are certain landmarks that Airbnb is suggesting to you because these are popular at the moment, okay, and probably for a while too. I have noticed that in my own city, it'll pop up these things that come up every year. For instance, in Calgary, we've got the Calgary Stampede, and that is just an outdoor exhibition show that happens once a year during the summer. But the search suggestion always shows up saying, "Oh, are you looking for this?" And what you want to do is you want to record these search suggestions, okay? So you want to take all these. You can probably just take a screenshot of these, and that'll be dependent on what computer you're using. On a Mac, I believe a screenshot is Command-Shift-4. So if you press all of those together, then you can kind of drag and it'll let you take a picture of that, okay? So you want to record your search suggestions, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking these search suggestions and we're going to be adding these into our summary, okay? Because that's what I have found to be number one, to have number one, a great experience for the searcher that is potentially going to book your listing, because you are being very clear about certain things that they might be looking for, and that's important for them. And it's also good for Airbnb to understand that you understand what people are looking for. Okay? So the next step is that you want to go to your original listing, okay? It's here. So you want to go into your listing, into your manage listings. This is your dashboard that you have probably seen a bunch of different times. And you want to go into probably edit. So you want to go into edit. Yeah, exactly. So you want to go into edit and you want to take the title, the summary, the space, and the guest access, okay? And you want to record these separately. So make sure you save these, okay? So copy each of these specific sections and you will paste them into a Google document, let's say. And from there, it's for a backup basically. So you wanna back this stuff up, what you originally had, and it's also good because you can compare what you originally had, and then if you miss something, then you can add it in. Because what we're gonna do right now is we're going to rewrite these listings. Okay, we're gonna rewrite these listings, and as you can tell with mine, I've got these. The title I actually don't find to be that important in a sense. I think that my title was or is pretty good in general. So it's condo 2 minutes away from downtown, next to train, view in huge or in capital letters. And yeah, I mean it's not it's not a perfect sentence, but that's because it's just a headline that people only read and they only see a very small portion of your title as well, right? So if we go back here, they only see these few words. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they only really see the first 5 words that you've got on your listing. Okay, so make sure those first 5 are captivating words that you can kind of stuff so that it's, people understand as well. So it makes a little bit of sense, but also it's very, very important. I haven't found that the title in general has very much correlation with how you are ranked, but I have found that the summary and the space and the guest access do. Okay, so let's go back into my listing here, and you can see that I've got in the summary here, I've got how far away they are from the Calgary Zoo, which was a landmark that was suggested from the search suggestions. And I've got something about the downtown city center and how far away it takes to drive from the Calgary International Airport. Okay, and that's just because I was actually inspired while doing this whole optimization thing from this listing. I thought this was a pretty good listing. It's really cheap. It's $24 a night Canadian for one guest, and it was the listing that showed up number one. To be honest with you, number one in my city, and for one guest. All right, and I looked at this and I thought, holy, this is a great listing. Okay, so she's got, please read my past guest reviews. I have over 100 satisfied guest reviews, which I don't think is true, which is hilarious. But nonetheless, I thought it was a great example. Maybe she had some taken away for some odd reason. And so she put in driving distances, and that's kind of where I got this inspiration from. It's just from looking at different listings while trying to get this research done. Okay, and if we go back here to the slide, what we've been doing is we've just been doing research up until this point. Okay, we've just been doing research, and then now we're trying to write new descriptions in our listings. Okay, so 3 things that I would say is that you want to include bullet points inside of your listings. You want to have call to action. So those are those things where, especially in the summary, when someone reads it, make sure that you write, hey, give me a message. Let me know where you guys are coming from. If there's anything that I can do to help you out, or just book instantly on the right-hand side. Okay, that's a call to action right there. And another thing is you might want to restate a guarantee. I personally have a cancellation policy, and it is not it's not 0. So there is a cancellation policy. I believe I'm on the moderate setting, but if you do have a guarantee, so let's say you give a guest gift basket to each individual that comes, then make sure that you state that in your guarantee, that each person is guaranteed a gift from us. And that could just be you going to Costco and picking up some chips, and candy or something like that. But at the end of the day, that's what that means. Okay? So that entails what we're going to do inside of Airbnb to optimize our listing inside. Okay? But if you want to take it one step further, okay, now we're going to optimize for Google. Okay? And that means starting up a Facebook account and getting a link back from your Facebook business account or from your Facebook business page back to your Airbnb listing. Okay, and that also means going into Twitter and starting a Twitter profile that has a link back to your Airbnb listing. Okay, so these are just social signals that you're sending to your Airbnb listing to show that it's an actual business, right? Like you are trying to not only use Airbnb as the platform in which you can get bookings from, but you also want to show Google that you are an actual business that is active. You want to be active in your business, right? So you have to show that you're kind of doing lots and lots of stuff online. So that's the first part, is the social signals. All right, I'm not going to show you and walk you through that because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to be able to. You've probably set up a Facebook page once in your life, possibly. But if you haven't, there's some instructions you could definitely find in Google. It's just a matter of probably starting a just on the right-hand side, it'll just say pages, and you'll just click start a new page. All right. And by the way, so I've listed it as a hotel as well. So you can put it as I believe it's a boutique hotel is what I listed my Facebook page as. And make sure that you use the name Airbnb and then your city. Okay, so Airbnb New York, Airbnb New Orleans, Airbnb San Diego, Airbnb Calgary is what you should be doing. Now, next is what are known as local citations. And local citations sounds kind of possibly confusing to you, but it's really not. It's just a matter of how many times your name, your address, and your phone number show up on Google. And it has to be the exact same name, the exact same address, and the exact same phone number. You don't have to use your exact phone number. You don't even you probably don't even have to use your exact address, but you just want to make sure that whatever it is that the link, when they ask you to put it in, that whatever the link is, you want to go and make sure that you're always using the same link. Okay, so it always has the same name, the same address, and the same phone number, but also the same link as well. All right, and places where you can find to add local citations would be TripAdvisor, Yelp, a whole bunch of different ones like Yellow Pages Business, I believe is what it's called. But here are two sites that we can go to: Yext and Syrup. Yext.com and then Syrup.com. I don't know if that's going to go to it, but hopefully it does. Syrup SEO. Local citations. Let's see. I don't know why I can't find it. Syrup. It's weird. Anyways, maybe I put that in there wrong. That could be my mistake, but that's the what I use. Anyways, you can use Yext regardless. This is just a way for you to see what kind of places that you can add your name, address, and phone number into these certain areas. So just go and you got to fill in, like, let's say you're in Canada, how many locations? You got one. Your business name would be Airbnb Calgary. You know, your business number would be 403-890-4755. Your address would be 91 First Ave Northeast T2 E7X2. You know, I'm just making this stuff up, but you scan it, and then it's going to come up with nothing, by the way, and then it'll give you all these different places where you can add your listings to, okay? And what I've done personally is I've got, I run a content marketing business, so what we did is I asked my team to kind of do this for me, and what they did is they put together 30 local citations for me, and they submitted them to these certain directories. Some of these are live, some of these are pending, and yeah, so right now we're just kind of waiting for all of these to go live, and it's not going to happen instantly, to be honest with you, but I do expect a little bit of results at the end of the day. And yeah, so it's kind of a waiting game a little bit, but what's important is that we've optimized the listing inside of Airbnb, and that we are working on the foundations of optimizing our listing on Google as well. Okay, so oops, I have a very messy background, as you can see, or desktop. So yeah, so I got my team to do 30 to start, and I used Yext, and I believe it was Syrup, but apparently I'm wrong because I can't find it. I will add it into the worksheet and the links at the bottom of this video. And so the next action steps, what I would like you to do is download the printable cheat sheet that you'll see at the bottom of this video, and then also leave me a thumbs up. That'd be fantastic on the video here as well. And then if you have any comments or thoughts, or maybe you've got some tips on how you've improved on your listing, they don't have to be technical. It can still be the stuff like I said about being hyper responsive to guests, and starting to notice that once you get bookings, the bookings just keep going. Let me know what your thoughts are on that as well, if you've experienced that, or maybe you're on maybe you're in a very competitive space and you're not seeing a lot of bookings, and let's say you implement this and it should work. It should honestly improve your rankings, because not only should it improve your rankings, but it should also improve your conversions as well. Okay, so how many people are visiting your site that actually end up booking, because you're giving them call to actions and you're fulfilling the search suggestions that they have. Okay, so they might be looking for certain landmarks, but they want to know how far away they are from those landmarks. All right, so hopefully that was a jam-packed full of information for you. Please download the printable cheat sheet so that you can go and follow along. I'll leave the blog post at the bottom as well. And again, my name is Kelvin Ma, and I am from remotescale.com. All right. And what we do is we help people get more bookings at the end of the day. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you guys soon.